Why not you? Okay, so the system, life as a whole, is designed to have winners and losers. Let me explain. So at the top, we have number 1, let's just say 50, and at the bottom, we have number 100. So the only way you can actually have winners and losers is if you also have people in the middle. And this is where most people are average, right? It's in the word. The average human being is actually average. Newsflash. Okay, so since this is average, we have a line here, and let's just say on the right side, we have everyone's dream life, or we have the thing that people believe they deserve from the time they are born, which is money, a family. So you have your wife here, there's you, the guy, you have your wife, and you have your little kids, family man, you send your little daughter as well. Please mind the drawing. I know this is not great, but I think you guys get the picture. What else? Yeah, the fast cars. Dang, this is a terrible drawing of a car. Let's just say this is the G-Wagon. Yeah, fair and fine. This is a G-Wagon, right? And, oh yeah, sorry. And the house, right? The dream home. This is what we all believe we're going to get from the time we're born. So this is the dream. Now on the other side, on the left-hand side, we have the curse, which is basically NA, not applicable. None of this happens. Now, one thing you guys are going to realize is that most people are trying to run away from this. This is the deep end. Or, as others might want to refer to this is basically the equivalent of death. Being at the bottom barrel. This is where most people are actually trying to run away from. And this is why you see that there's this graph. I'm sure most of us have seen this graph in math. Okay, let me just draw it somewhere here, where this is the median. So here we have the lower percentile of human beings, and here we have the higher percentile of human beings. So this is the top 1%. You have your multi-millionaires going up, and this is the bottom 1%, right? And then here you have the median, which is the average human being, which is this person. Now, the older you get, the one thing you're going to realize is that no matter how hard or how much you might want to be in the top 1%, be number one, and have the dream life, what you're going to realize is that most people wish for these things, but they don't actually put in the work that is required to obtain these things. And that already starts separating a lot of people from even ever reaching this. You see? Now, here's the psychology of the whole life thing, or at least the way I have seen life in my 24 years of living. Okay, now by the end of this video, one of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to be motivated to chase after getting to the top 1%, or you're going to be demotivated and you're just going to settle and not even try. Or you're going to try and you're going to use the fact that most people are here, or most people are average, to satisfy the fact that maybe you're not cut out for it. And that's okay. Now, I'm not speaking to the whole world. I'm speaking to myself, my avatar, which is this guy. This is the way I'm trying to go. And I'm not talking about the one thing that you just naturally have is you're born to the world. I'm talking about the guys that genuinely, with all their hearts, want to do their best to get here. And I'll even go a bit further and say the people that want to get here before the age of 30. Now, once you start putting a time limit, such as the one I put for myself, you realize that you get even you're under even more pressure than the average human being. Because not only are you trying to break into the top 1%, but now when you put an age limit on how fast you want to get to the position, let's say the $1 million dream, or this rather, before the age of 30, you're even further into the rabbit hole, and you're not only trying to get into the top 1%, but now you're trying to get into the top, probably, dang, this is scary, probably 0.1%. Or let's just make it a little bit interesting. 0.1 to, let's say, 0.5% at most. Right? Now, the trick is, the reason why I personally have put an age limit on when I want to become a millionaire is so that I actually work as hard as I possibly can. Why? Because I have this belief that if you aim for the stars, worst case scenario, you land on the moon, right? So if I genuinely want to become a millionaire or earn at least 7 to 8 figures a year by the time I'm 29 or 30, what's going to happen is, even though there's no guarantee that it will happen, the work ethic and the effort, the skill stacking, the networking that I'm going to do will more than likely land me in the 6-figure mark, worst case scenario, if things go in my favor. Because that's the thing you need to realize about becoming a top 1% person, is that there's no guarantee, no matter how hard you work. There's actually an element of luck in this game. But even though there's an element of luck, you need to understand that luck is simply where opportunity meets hard work. Meaning that if you want to get luckier, I hate the term luck because I'm Christian, so I believe in grace rather than luck. But for you guys to understand what I'm trying to say, for you to get luckier, or rather to stand a better chance of grace working in your favor, you simply have to throw more darts at the board. It's simple mathematics, it's simple probability. The more chances you give yourself, the more likely you're going to get the outcome that you're looking for. You understand? Right. Now, looking at the dartboard. Okay, let's put the dartboard here. Right? Ah, yes. You know what? I'm actually enjoying drawing these. So let's say this is the dartboard, right? Game on. You're now giving yourself chances. You're throwing, bah. More than likely, you're going to miss the whole board sometimes. Especially in the beginning, you're going to be missing the dartboard a whole lot. Da, da. Then one day you're going to get lucky, you're going to hit the edge. And this is when everything changes for you. You realize, oh wait, I actually can aim for the board. Why? Because now your hand is actually used to throwing the darts. But you've given yourself enough opportunities for that to actually happen. Then probably you're going to miss again. And then one day you're going to hit the dartboard again. Probably I'll say this is when you either go viral for the first time, and for me virality is probably anywhere from like 100k views to 1 million, or you get your first client online. This is when the real shift happens, because what happens here is you've done the one thing that the average human being that is here will never ever do. So I'll probably say people from like 25 going up will get to experience this. Going viral and getting their first client online. Trust me, everyone from 26 going all the way down to the barrel will likely just be living off their job. And there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, sorry. And remember, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're a person that's trying to break in, you need to fight. You need to keep throwing these darts up until you hit this thing. Because that's when everything changes for you. And this happened to me, I think, 3 to 6 months into my online journey, where I got my first 100k, 1 million views, and I also got my first client. On the bright side, by the time this happens, you hit this bullseye, you got your first client, you got your first viral video, you are automatically in the top 3%, to be honest. So you're playing in the majors. finally, literally, just by getting your first client, you're automatically in the majors. Because you need to understand that within 3 months, at least 90% of people are out of the game. Literally. And this is outside of getting clients and outside of actually doing well. Literally just saying, I'm working on this. 3 months is enough time to knock out 90% of people who even decide to start. Forget about people who wish about starting. I'm talking about people who even decide to say, okay, I want to start posting on social media. I want to start an online business. I want to start writing copy. I want to start doing drop shipping. I'm only talking about the people who actually make the decision to be like, okay, I have pressed post for the first time. The only people that do that are from somewhere here, which is 10 going up, which is the top 10%. And literally after 3 months, most of these guys are out of the game anyways. So if you've made it this far, and this is the position I'm currently in, well done. And for the first time, I can actually say, clap for yourself. Now, this is where it gets a bit messy. Now, you need to understand that even after achieving this, I can tell you for a fact, there are so many times where I still have that thing at the back of my head saying that, dang, this dream might actually not come into fruition. And we are all fighting those demons. And that's when the real war actually starts. Forget about fighting off these guys. I promise you, if you have enough endurance, this is not a war. You could easily get here. So that's going viral or getting or signing your first client. If you're a real dog like me, just saying, you can get to that point. But this is where the real war starts. And this is where most people are right now. Now, as someone who's obsessed with the online space, one thing I've noticed is that most people hit their breakthrough year from, I would say, year 4, 5, and 6. That's when most people come out and they're making 6 figures a year or even 6 figures a month. And then they get to share their story and say, oh, I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. But I am still within my 4 to 5 years. You see, I'm still under 2 years with regards to social media marketing. So you can imagine how scary it is for me to be doing this whilst I haven't even reached $1,000 a month in this specific space that I am. Now, have I reached 3 figures, $100, $200 a month? Yes, I have. This is why I say hitting this bullseye is more than enough to carry you. Now I have proof of concept. I know that the things that I've been speaking about, the things I've been practicing and preaching, are actually real. Now I just have to hold on long enough for the next few years to make sure that this becomes a reality for me. Because I realize that now I'm in the top 90%. And this is the trick for anyone listening. The trick is not necessarily to become the best as fast as possible, but the trick is to reach a point for you where going back is even further than going forward. Meaning, you simply have to reach, I would probably say, naturally I would say once you're at number 49, then it's enough for you to keep going. But unfortunately, because of the fact that 90% of people quit in 3 months, this is not enough. I say try and reach the 10% mark where you've been working on this for more than a year and you've seen enough results to know that what you're doing and saying is actually working in your favor. And you're actually seeing the progression in the skills you have and your confidence. Understand? And also another thing that will tell you that you're on your way to getting the top 1% is your ability to endure. I can tell you for a fact, the first day I started making content, me posting once a day was enough torture and horror. But now I've reached the stage where posting even 5 to 10 times a day alone, single-handedly, is light work. So this is what I mean when I say you need to build the endurance, because that's exactly what you're going to need to get to your breakthrough year. So this is what I'm fighting to do, and this is why now I'm even documenting my journey, because I saw Iman Gaji doing the exact same thing. And one thing I noticed is that most people, when they're on their way, they're too afraid to admit that to the rest of the world. But at least they're not afraid to admit that to themselves. And this is why these guys end up making it regardless, because it's not that they're going to necessarily gain anything by showing their journey in the moment of loss, because no one really cares. But at least they will make it because they genuinely believe that they will make it. You see? So, as for someone like me, I've seen that most people that document their journey from scratch always tend to reap the most benefits in the end. Why? Because a lot of people get to resonate with your story literally from the start to the finish. E.g., Imanga G, another example, MKHB, another example, Mr. Beast himself, right? We all know and we can all go and see their very first YouTube videos. And that's the story I'm also trying to share. Now, even though it's not exactly the day I started, but I think I'm still early enough in my journey to resonate with a lot of beginners. Now, so to you guys who want to get here, and to myself, I'll say this. I am not doing this because I know that I can get this by this time. I am doing this because I simply believe that I can get this within this time frame. You see, huge difference. Why? Because I feel like if you attach the success of your life to each and every metric or result you're going to get, you're going to break a lot of potential glory that you could get just because things didn't happen your way. Let me explain. Fair and fine, there's a chance that I might not become a millionaire by the age of 30, right? This is just a fact of life, regardless of how hard I work. Now, the amount of work I put in, provided that it is smart and I focus on not just work ethic, but also leveraging networks, leveraging social media, leveraging my own abilities and personality, right? Even after doing all of that, there's no guarantee that this will happen in the time frame I want. Now, let me show you an example of how life actually works. Fair and fine. This might not happen by then, but I don't necessarily have a dream to be a billionaire yet, right? I would like to say right now, currently where I am, maybe having a net worth of 100 mil. As crazy as that sounds, I think I can pull it off. And probably that can be a dream number for me. But I think more than anything, I would want the dream life. But I just put 100 mil as a number because I feel like the best way to set targets and goals for yourself is by actually writing them down and seeing them for what they are, right? So you could see that this might not happen to me by age 30, but because of all the work I would have put in and all the momentum I would have built up, something could happen where this is the mountain and the snowball is here. And then maybe at the age of 31, something pops off for me, boom. And then this tips off the snowball that goes down the mountain and becomes an avalanche of what? Of results. And by age 32, not only am I a millionaire, but by age 32, I'm worth 100 M's. This is why it's so important to fall in love with the craft, fall in love with the process, and let the results speak for themselves. So, I might be pissed off that I didn't become a millionaire by age 30, but I for sure will not be pissed off that 2 to 3 or 4 years later, I managed to break my dream net worth. And as for my dream net worth, this, you need to realize that this is a lifelong dream. You see? So even if this happens at the age of 60 or even 70 years, I'm game. The main pressure is doing this. But you need to understand that pressure is a privilege, and that's the only thing that's actually going to push me for any of this to come into life. If you're a coach or entrepreneur looking to scale their brand online, don't forget to book a call with me.